Everybody, it's Dick here. This is my final ride on the Yamaha Niken GT. I've had it for a couple of months. My friend Scott loaned it to me. He's on a three-wheeler kick. I was fortunate for him to be on a three-wheeler kick because in one of the sleepless nights of thinking about what bikes I own and how I want to change up the fleet, I was thinking I might go on an esoteric enterprise and replace all of my conventional bikes with those wonky and weird bikes that somehow made it to production. The BMW C1, the Niken, an MP3, etc., etc. And I was ready to go ahead and trade in one or two of my bikes for a Niken. And there's funny pricing on them, so you can kind of get into one relatively inexpensively. I've given it the old college try. I was ready to buy one sight unseen, bike unridden, as they do in the States. But I'm glad I had the opportunity to get to know this. It takes some getting used to it. There is a learning curve to operating it. And even when you build the level of confidence that is required for this bike, I didn't gel with it. I didn't fall in love with it. It's still awkward. I have probably about 300-400 miles on it. Never really seduced me in the way that two-wheeled bikes do. My friend Bones was telling me when I was initially giving him some feedback on the bike, he said, you have to forget that there's three wheels. And you do forget that there's three wheels until. So that was not my hang-up. I don't have the hang-up of it being three wheels. I have other hang-ups. As I'm stopped at the stoplight, I've been trying to filter through here. It's been pretty harrowing. I mean, it's pretty wide here, but then you get to a pinch point and these mirrors and the width of the bike makes it unwieldy in terms of filtering. My issue also with this bike is how far away the mirrors are. I guess I bumped that mirror moving it out of the drive, and in order to adjust the mirrors I have to lean across this real estate here, and I have to kind of tap it with my finger and then come back on the seat to see if the adjustment is correct, and if not, adjust it again. There is a blank spot here for a mirror that comes up off of here, and I really miss being able to reach my mirrors. Like right now, I can't see anything over here. I'm adjusting my mirror. There's a huge blind spot over my left shoulder. It lives on the highway. It's a sport touring bike. You can go out on a long, lazy ride, and it's comfortable in that respect. It shines in that respect, but there's so many other situations where it doesn't shine that the compromises outweigh the benefits. So I'm on my final ride. It's a highway ride, luckily. And the only thing that will dampen this ride is either those clouds or the firm seat, which in the past has proven uncomfortable. About a half an hour on the bike now. Bit of congestion on the M25 coming around to Heathrow. I'm heading down towards the Dover Tunnel, and I'm reminded I've been off the bike probably for about a week, and off the highway for a bit longer than that. And I'm reminded now about the vibration in the throttle hand, which really seems to be the only place I'm getting uncomfortable vibrations. It doesn't help that it's about 47 degrees Fahrenheit, which I'm not really sure what that is in centigrade, but it's cold. It has heated grips, which is welcome, but I'm on 3 bars right now of heated grips, and the 3 bars is too hot for these gloves. These are kind of like 3-season gloves. I don't think they're winter gloves. They'll get you into the autumn. They're too hot for the 3-season gloves. And 2 bars is not enough for the 3-season gloves. And 1 bar... That's funny, I just looked for a 7th gear. I think I'm looking for that gear because of the buzziness in the throttle hand. I'm in 6th gear, just shy of 70 miles an hour, settled in on the highway, 45 to 4,800 RPM. And the throttle feels like one of those funhouse electrocution games where there's a really high frequency buzz and it feels like you're being electrocuted. So It's uncomfortable, which is why I think I was looking for a higher gear to back off a bit from that fuzzy, relatively low RPM. Missing red lines at 11,200 RPM, and it goes up to 13,000 and a bit on the indicator in the red bar. Approaching 5,000 RPM, and the grips have gotten way too hot, and I have to take my hand off to get up to this selector here, and I've lost all heat. On the left hand now, I'm down to 2 bars, and it seems all the heat is in the throttle hand. It's very blustery today, and I'm getting lots of buffeting over the windshield into my shoulders, but what's interesting is I'm getting the blusteriness is I'm getting a lot of feedback in the handlebar. I don't know if you noticed, but the handlebar seems to be shaking back and forth. I'm getting a lot more feedback through the 2 wheels and the handlebars than I've ever gotten on this bike. So lots of feedback through the front 2 wheels and translating or transmitting up onto the handlebars. It's a unique looking bike. I wouldn't say it's a cool looking bike. I think the engineering, the function makes a lot of the form decisions. And so the form decisions are almost like afterthoughts or band-aids trying to make up for the, I wouldn't say ugliness, but functionality of the engineering. There are these big, huge wheel wells. It gives you the sense that when you're cornering and leaning really hard, that the little 15-inch wheel is going to compress the shock so severely that you need that wheel well on the inside wheel when you're cornering at speed. But I don't think you could ever even get close. I don't think the fork travel allows for compression as long as that to get the wheel anywhere near the wheel well. So you could put a microwave oven on the front of this thing, still have enough wheel clearance under fully compressed shocks. Clearly the arched wheel wells give a sense of motion, give a sense of speed. It's trying to have that language. I'm not necessarily sure it works. So just had a petrol forecourt chat with a couple of guys who have Piaggio MP3s. They were surprised to hear that this thing doesn't stand up by itself. Unlike the Piaggio where you can push a little button and it'll stand up when you're at stoplights and stuff, this does not have that feature. And he said to me, so what's the benefit of having 3 wheels? And I just kind of shook my head and said, beats the shit out of me. Now they talk about contact patch and all that other stuff, but I have not found the benefit of having 3 wheels over 2 on this motorcycle. So it's cold and the roads are slick, and I don't feel any more confident on this bike in these slick conditions than I do on a 2-wheel bike.
If you like that video and you want to see more like them, hit like, share, and subscribe.